So we have learned that Juan Soto is taking his talents to the New York Metropolitans. Juan Soto going to the Mets. He's agreed to a record-breaking contract. He will be a Met for the next 15 seasons, at least contractually bound to the Mets. $765 million. Of course, we haven't seen all the fine print on this, so there's likely some escape hatches and all that. The deal announced on Sunday night as the winter meetings are underway in the greater Dallas area. And as you guys know, boots on the ground, if you're listening to us in Dallas, we are on a major sports talk radio station in Dallas. So if you happen to see anybody, let us know if you hear something. I talked on the Fifth Hour podcast. We had a guy call up who was visiting the Cape last week, and he told us a story about Peter Gammons buying Blue Moon at a local liquor store on the Cape. And I love that store. And so if maybe you're at the winter meetings and you see like Andrew Friedman and he's eating like, Raising Cane's or something like that, you can let us know. You can give us the inside skinny on that. But the story here, Juan Soto, $765 million. Soto's deal topping the 10-year, $700 million contract that Juan Soto's rival, who beat him in the World Series, although he didn't play very well, Shohei Ohtani, signed with the Doyers. And at the time, that was the largest deal in baseball history. Although if you go year by year, you can crunch the numbers on that. It's a 15-year deal as opposed to the 10-year contract. So it's a lot. It's a lot more years, 5 years. Of course, whether Soto will play that out, who knows, and all that. The Mets offer the highest, passing by the Yankees at the very last moment there. And so Soto, who was not even the top player on the Yankees, that was Aaron Judge, but Juan Soto, the number 2, the Robin, the Batman, and he now goes off and
number 2.
Yeah, well, I'd rather be that number 2 than number 1. I got to tell you, $765 million, and that's $5 million more to leave the Yankees. You got an extra $5 million. Now, when you're in that tax bracket, not that I've ever been in that tax bracket, nor based on the career arc that I'm going on right now in my broadcasting career will I ever be at that area. But my God, is $5 million really matter? That I guess every dollar counts, but if you got $760 million as opposed to $765 million. So the question, what do you love and what do you hate about this, right? Juan Soto going to the Mets. What do we love about it? What do we hate about it? So I've got horn dog, rotisserie chicken, and manhood. And we will combine all of these things together, and we will go on the party bus. We're going to go on the party bus because why not? More on that later. But I love the relay race of money. And I remember reading several stories years ago about how baseball just wasn't connecting with the modern fan, and it just wasn't going to work, and that there was going to be a case where baseball was going to be passed by soccer. I still chuckle at that. In America. So the soccer cult, the rest of the world calls it football, but we call it soccer. They say, well, baseball is not that popular. It's not going to work out and all that stuff. Well, here we are all these years later. I probably read that story 25 years ago. Here we are now. And Juan Soto gets an ungodly amount of money because he takes the baton from Shohei Ohtani, and he takes advantage of what we all want in life. A horn dog rich guy who really, really wants to have you on the payroll. And that's what happened. You make no mistake, that's exactly what happened. Juan Soto lived the dream. He had the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Mets bidding against each other. That is ungodly great if you're a baseball player, right? The three of the biggest players in the sport, they're all bidding. And it's like a fine piece of art, and they got to own it, right? They've got to own that Picasso, and they will pay whatever it takes to get that Picasso. And you're the Picasso! You are the Picasso, Juan Soto, my God. And so I mentioned horn dog owner Steve Cohen, who is willing to take a bath in the red. And make no mistake, he will take a bath in the red on this contract. Juan Soto is the guy we thought he was, though. This is confirmation of previous MALLER monologues. And I am not ripping Juan Soto for this, but this is as advertised. Remember when Juan Soto was with the Washington Nationals years ago, and they offered him $300 million? Everyone said, how can you turn down $300 million? Well, he was eyeing this night. He was eyeing this contract. So $300 million, turned that down from the Nationals. He went out to the Padres to eat fish taco in San Diego, hang out with the great AP writer Bernie Wilson, who's going to be retiring here soon. So he went down to San Diego, had some fish tacos and all that, did that thing. They offered him $400 million. He said, nah, I'm good. I don't want $400 million. So then he goes to the Yankees, and they offered him $500 million initially after the trade before the Ohtani thing. So $500 million. I'm good. I don't need the $500 million. So then it gets up to past $700 million. So it skips the $600 million. It goes past that, and then in the $700 million range, and it ends up at $765 million. Dead presidents for Juan Soto. And now, what do we hate about this? What do we hate about it? So right away, the obvious is there is no way this works out for the entire length of the contract, assuming that Soto does not opt out, and we have to read all the fine print that will come out in the coming days. But assuming that Soto, say in the next 15 years here, plays out the contract, which likely won't happen. But if it does, in that dimension of the multiverse, then the reality of the situation is that you're really talking about the next 5 to 7 years. And after that, all bets are off. So the Mets have a 5 to 7 year window, not a 15-year window, a 5 to 7 year window. So I did the math on this. I did MALLER math. So Juan Soto is 26 years old. So he's 26 years old. The backside of this contract is going to be ugly. Ugly, the backside of the contract. So if you do the math on this, the athletic prime ends, outside of the performance-enhancing drugs in sports, your athletic prime ends at 32. So then there's a decline. So that means, assuming the Soto's not going down to the pharmacy, that he's doing this on the up and up, he's clean, then 5 to 7 years, that's it. And you maybe squeeze out another extra year after that, but the backside of the contract is going to be a disaster. And as I have said all along, these massive contracts, it's not my money. If you want to burn your money on some highly coveted, bougie, elitist baseball player, more power to you. Good for you if you get the kind of money to burn. So I don't really worry about that part of it. Although the issue here is you got to win one World Series. Now, the Dodgers have given out a lot of these contracts. They're all going to blow up eventually. And the Dodgers, even worse, they're paying out deferred money for years and years and years and years and years and years. But Ohtani, they won a World Series. Check. So he's already, the contract's fine. Mookie Betts, they've won a World Series with him. So if you get one of those $300-plus, $400-plus million contracts, you got to get at least one World Series. Both those guys have done it. Will Juan Soto do it with the Mets? Will they? They haven't won in a long time. They haven't won in a very long time. Social media did not exist the last time the Mets won the World Series. Did not exist. All right, now, the second part of this, how can the Mets make this Juan Soto contract work with the bean counters? How can they make this work? I know you're very concerned about the finances of the Metropolitans. So I have done the calculus on this, the MALLER math on this as well. So let me explain this to you like you're in kindergarten. Okay, so in business, this is a deal. It's similar to Costco's inflation-proof $4.99 rotisserie chicken or the $1.50 hot dog and drink. It's very similar to that. It's a loss leader. Juan Soto is a loss leader for the New York Mets. That you overpay for Juan Soto thinking that other players will want to play for the Mets to play with Juan Soto and that you will end up being profitable in other areas. There's more of a buzz. You get more people to watch your games on TV, which leads to higher advertising rates. You also have more people that attend your games and buy more merchandise and all that stuff. And so you overpay for Soto, knowing that you're not going to make money on that. Because if you look at the numbers on this, the reason the Ohtani contract worked out the way it did is because the Dodgers could get that money back from Japan. They're whoring themselves out, the Dodgers, in Japan, and that's where they're getting their new money. They've already maxed out the L.A. market, so they're now getting money from the Japanese fans, and that's how they're going to get their money back on the contract. Plus, they're paying most of it out deferred anyway. So you overpay knowing it ain't going to work out on that contract at all, and the classic move in business. Classic move in business. In sports, it's a little more complicated. A loss leader, as we said, involves a player at a price that is not going to be profitable based on there's no way Soto can live up to that contract unless he hit like 100 home runs a year and drove in 250 runs or something like that. But it is used to attract new customers. Ergo fans, and you can sell the products and services and advertising ratings. Ratings go up, advertising goes up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But Steve Cohen is so rich, he would have to live 40,000 years to spend all the money. And we know that's not possible, right? And he's not going to bury his money like they used to supposedly did in the ancient days. So you got to get rid of the money, and might as well give it to Juan Soto because you want the Mets to win and all this stuff. You're a fanboy, and that's it. All right, now the last word here: the losing locker room, the Yankees. Will the Yankees and Brian Cashman be haunted for not being able to get the deal done with Juan Soto? So I'm going to nod my head yes. This is a very un-Yankee-like move, right? They always got who they wanted, who they truly wanted, especially a guy that had played for them. So this is holy machismo, Batman. What happened? Where were the pinstripe? The Yankees, the mighty New York Yankees. The big, bad Bronx Bomber. And you're going to go play for that other team? Yeah, and there is that elitism. Again, same crap. We used to love basketball before basketball stopped trying in the regular season. We used to talk about basketball a lot on this show. And it's a similar dynamic to the Lakers and the Clippers. I said, Kawhi Leonard was supposed to go to the Lakers. How could he go to the Clippers? Of course, then he retired as soon as he signed with the Clippers. Maybe Juan Soto will retire, too, with the Mets. He'll still get paid. He'll show up maybe a couple games a year like Kawhi Leonard does, that loser with the Clippers, where he shows up every once in a while. Anyway, get back to the point. So this is a blow to the manhood, is what it is. Castration situation, if you will. The Yankees have always positioned themselves as the guys who get what they want. Right? That's their MO. That's how they operate there. So it is emasculating. And Juan Soto, he got a taste of life in the Bronx. He got a taste of wearing the pinstripes and playing for the Yankees. He got into the World Series, and none of that mattered. Because he's not about winning. See, that's the thing. He's about getting paid. And I get it. It's not about winning. It's about getting as much money as you can. And he figures, man, maybe the Mets will win at some point. And if not, who cares? I guess $765 million. But the Yankees get outbid by their roommates, if you were, their little brothers. That's what happened here. Steve Cohen. No need, though, for a pity party for the Yankees. Now they have a lot of money to spend, and they can get quantity over elite quality. And whether that's Pete Alonso or Christian Walker who are available, they can get the trade market, free agency, and get starting pitching. So the Yankees will add 2 or 3 players instead of Juan Soto. Maybe that works out better for them, at least in the short term. We'll see how that works out in the long term. It is the Ben Maller Show. Talking ball. Big news here. $765 million for Juan Soto as he's going 9.9 miles. That's how long it takes. 9.9 miles to drive from the Bronx to Citi Field. Of course, 9.9 miles in New York will take you about 5 hours. About 5 hours, depending on traffic and whatnot.